The 2020 NBA Finals are officially set as we've got the LA Lakers coming out of the West and the Miami Heat coming out of the East to face off against one another to determine who will be the 2020 NBA champion. What is going on, y'all? FaizSportsTalk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA, of course, like I just mentioned, and here to break down, give you guys my preview and my prediction for the NBA Finals, okay? So a lot to talk about, a lot to get to, and I'm going to break everything down. I'm going to talk about the matchups, the keys for each team, you know, the player comparisons, and ultimately give you guys a winner at the very end and give you guys the number of games the series will go to at the very end. But before I get into all that, if you are new to the channel, guys, and you have not hit that subscribe button down below, that button down below, you need to do so. I don't know why you're waiting, because I'm putting out a lot of content and you don't want to miss out, folks, okay? We know the NBA season in terms of, you know, playing wise is wrapping up, but we've still got the off season afterwards, and there's going to be a bunch of other things, the draft, so a lot to stay tuned for and subscribe for. Go ahead and subscribe and make sure you're following me on my social media, guys. Twitter, Instagram, all the links down below and on screen to reach out to me, ask questions, whatever it is. Do what you got to do. With that being said, let's get into it. So before I do get started talking about the matchup, I do want to just quickly go over how I've done so far through the entire NBA playoffs with my predictions, okay? I really, guys, focus a lot on this because obviously I want to know how right I get these picks, right? Because I trust myself to give you guys the right information. And so it's important for me to be transparent and evaluate how I've done so far, all right? So I give you guys my picks throughout the entire NBA playoffs. I did it before the playoffs started. I did it for the first round, then the second round, then the third round, etc., right? Conference finals. You get the point. And so far, there have been 14 series that have been played. We're talking first round, second round, and conference finals, okay? So 14 series that have been played, and out of those 14, I'll tell you how many I got right. And then out of those 14, I'll tell you how many I got right with the exact number of games predicted correctly, okay? And finally, talk about who I predicted to make the NBA Finals before the playoffs started, all right? So let's pull up the board, shall we? So here were my picks. So my FST picks here. I had the Lakers and the Bucks making the NBA Finals before the playoffs started. You guys can go check the receipts. I'm not lying. All right. Lakers and Bucks was my pick. So obviously the Lakers are in the NBA Finals, so I feel really good about that. I know people might think, oh, Faiz, the Lakers were the heavy favorite. No, really, they weren't. The Clippers were a favorite too. All right. And a lot of people took the Clippers to get to the finals and beat the Lakers. And so I believe the fact that I stuck to my guts and I picked the Lakers when a lot of people are going with the Clippers, I feel pretty good about it. All right, so I picked the Lakers. But unfortunately, my pick from the Eastern Conference was the Milwaukee Bucks, who, of course, got knocked out in the second round by the eventual NBA Finals team from the East, the Miami Heat. So I definitely got that wrong. The Bucks let me down. They just didn't show up. Miami was the better team. Nothing else to say here. Now, in terms of the series, I predicted so far, they should actually say 14, so that is wrong. But series so far, there have been 14. And out of the 14, I've predicted 11 right. The only 3 series that I have not gotten right were the Celtics over the Heat. I predicted the Celtics over the Heat, and the Heat won. But again, 6 games, so... and then I got the Nuggets and Clippers series wrong. I thought the Clippers were going to win that. I think a lot of people thought that as well. And the Clippers, of course, choked. And then, of course, I predicted the Bucks to beat the Heat. So those were the only 3 series that I got wrong. All right? And then finally, in terms of exactly right with the number of games, I got about 5 series exactly right. Nailed it right on the head in terms of picking the right number of games. Okay? So just wanted to put that out there to let you guys know how I've done so far. All right? 11 out of 14. I'd say that's pretty decent. I will take it. Again, I like my process walking through all the picks. And again, I know the Bucks did not make it, but honestly, folks, I can't go back and just change anything because that was the process that I took. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there. So now let's talk about the matchup, the Lakers versus the Heat. So the Lakers coming in have been dominant. We know how dominant the Lakers have been. They took out the Nuggets, who nobody could take out in 5 games. LeBron James, I mean, talk about just greatness in that closeout game. 38 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists. What more to say? Still the best player in the world. And quite frankly, folks, it's not even close. It's not, okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about Kawhi. I don't want to hear about Giannis. I don't want to hear about KD. LeBron James is still the best player in the world until he decides not to be. That's just it. And alongside LeBron James is Anthony Davis, who is a top 5 player, and he's been balling out. You just hope he stays healthy, obviously, like he's done throughout the entire playoffs. I know Lakers fans want me to knock on wood, so I will do that. But AD's been phenomenal. But what about Dwight Howard? Dwight Howard was phenomenal in that series. Really neutralized Nikola Jokic after not even playing the Rockets series because the Rockets forced the Lakers to go small. So props to Dwight for being a team player. We've seen playoff Rondo emerge. He's been phenomenal after I thought he was, really bad, doing really bad for the Lakers. So Rondo has been great. The KCP stepped up. Danny Green's still iffy. You still got Kyle Kuzma, guys like that. But for the most part, the Lakers, we know they're two dogs, two big heads, excuse me. They're two big names in Anthony Davis and LeBron James. We know what they can do and what they can bring to the table. So that is the engine that makes the Lakers go. But we have seen that they have now gotten a third star contribution, if you will, from a combination of players in a playoff Rondo, in a Dwight Howard, in a Kyle Kuzma. So it has worked out in the way where, yes, the Lakers have not had a third option consistently emerge, but it's been through a team effort. All right. Now we talk about the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have been the surprise of the NBA playoffs because I certainly did not see this coming. They have been phenomenal. I got to give all the credit in the world to Eric Spoelstra, man. What a phenomenal job he's done with this team. And shout out to the boy Jimmy G Buckets, all right? And the G stands for Gets. I'm talking about Jimmy Butler, a former Chicago Bull, Jimmy Butler, who obviously Bulls fans know very well. And the fact is, I think after the Heat went to the NBA Finals and they won that game against the Celtics, Jimmy probably thought about the fact that all these years, Bulls fans and other teams try to convince, people that Jimmy Butler couldn't be the best player on a championship team, including myself. I was wrong. Jimmy Butler has shown that. But in Jimmy Butler's defense, man, he has done this all his life, proved people wrong. And shout out to him for getting to the NBA Finals. A lot of people laughed at Jimmy Butler for joining the Heat in the free agency period in this past offseason because they thought he wasn't going to a quote-unquote contender. Well, look who's laughing now. It's Jimmy Butler. But again, shout out to him. And shout out to Bam Adebayo, the breakout player of the year. I don't know how he did not win Most Improved because Bam Adebayo is a beast. And he closed out. He was the main reason they were able to close out that series against the Celtics because I'm telling you right now, if that series went 7, Boston probably wins that. I'm just saying. All right, so Bam, phenomenal. And what about Tyler Hero? My goodness, Tyler Hero has just become a bucket. Came out of nowhere, just been absolutely balling. He's been the third option scoring-wise for the Heat. Really. And sometimes even more so than Jimmy Butler. Really. So Tyler Hero's been great. Goran Dragic has been consistent for them. Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala, solid presence there for them. And yeah, the Heat have been a very, very solid team, well coached, play good defense. So that's all you can say about the Miami Heat. They've just proved people wrong. Now, in terms of the matchup, here is what I see with the Heat and the Lakers. The Lakers, to me, are the better team in terms of talent. They have the two best players in the series, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Okay, they are better than Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. I hope everybody agrees with me on that. I don't think that's breaking news. And so right off the bat, you have that advantage there because you have a team that has the better players, period, in terms of the stars. Then when we start breaking down the matchups, we take a look at, okay, Bam Adebayo has really emerged for the Heat. Who's going to cover him? Well, now you've got guys to throw at him because the Celtics didn't have anybody besides Daniel Tice to throw at Bam Adebayo. Now you got Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, maybe JaVale McGee as well. But you've got 3 solid bodies to throw at Bam Adebayo. Will all 3 of them or any of them stop him? Not completely, but can they neutralize him, slow him down like they did to Nikola Jokic? Absolutely. And so that, to me, is an advantage for the Lakers. Then we take a look at Jimmy Butler, okay? LeBron James has shown you when it is time, when the chips are on the line, and he needs to stop somebody on the other team, no matter who it is, he will do it. And so I trust if Jimmy Butler, who has not really been a scorer for the Heat, he's been more of like this facilitator, closer role, if you will. But when push comes to shove, I believe LeBron James has no problem covering Jimmy Butler. So, and he can do a great job on him and potentially shut him down. So now you're talking about really the ancillary pieces in Tyler Hero and Goran Dragic and Jay Crowder. Maybe get hot, having one good game, if you will. But too much firepower is coming from the Lakers' end. They're just a better team defensively. They've got the better stars. And so to me, folks, again, this is not breaking news. This shouldn't be much of a surprise, but I fully expect the Lakers to win the NBA championship. I think the Heat have overachieved a bit. Nobody expected them to get here. More props to them for getting here, but they have overachieved. And so I think the train stops here for the Miami Heat. I'm predicting the LA Lakers to win the NBA championship and for LeBron James to win his fourth ring and fourth finals MVP. I'm going to go with the Lakers to win this series in 5 games. I'm going to give a game to the Miami Heat because, again, like I said, Hero can get hot, maybe Dragic, maybe Butler, etc. But that's it. Other than that, it's too much firepower coming from the Lakers. And again, I know it's LeBron, AD 1 and 2, and then everyone else, but playoff Rondo, Dwight Howard, Kyle Kuzma, sometimes even Alex Caruso, Markieff Morris, Daniel Green, KCP. Again, there's guys that can kind of pop off in the Lakers bench too as well. But again, it all starts with LeBron and AD. And LeBron and AD and that defense versus Jimmy and Bam and that team, give me the Lakers all day, all night. So I got the Lakers winning the series, guys, in 5 games. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you have winning the series and in how many games? Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.